goals tonight, Erling Haaland, but he'd be disappointed not to get a hat-trick. He had a good few decent chances for his standards after that. But again, when the dust settles on this result, they're right back in the title hunt at the top of the league. And Pep's happy, as you can see as well. And I don't know if they're at the City of old as yet, but especially you mentioned the first half. They weren't so good first half, but special turnaround second half. They were a very strong second half.
Gary, maybe not the City of old, but after back-to-back defeats in August, it's 8 games unbeaten. That will feel nice after the international break. Above the likes of Arsenal and Liverpool, obviously they still have a game to play in this match week, but Manchester City getting towards the City we know under that guy?
It sure will feel good for them, yeah, and we've seen that before, haven't we, over the years. Man City are top of the table. You've got half a chance with a number 9 like that man there. His stats are absolutely...
Phil, congratulations. Another big victory, which puts you at the top of the table for now. We'll get on to the 2 goals in a minute, but what was it like to play in that game today?
Well, it was difficult. I think the first half we weren't really at it. We weren't playing forward as quick as we could do. We took too long on the ball and we couldn't find the space in between the lines. And the manager spoke about it at half-time, and I thought in the second half was much more meaningful going forward, breaking lines, and yeah, we had a lot of chances, we created a lot, and overall I think we can be happy with the performance.
Looking at that first goal from Erling Haaland, it was just before the hour mark. In terms of the timing of the goal, how important was that? Very
important. We know he's got that quality to always time his runs to perfection and always be in the right position. We know that if they kind of mark him out the game, he's still capable of scoring. He doesn't lose concentration, and he only needs one chance to score. And he remained very patient. There weren't a lot of space for him today, but as you can see, he's always there for us at the right times, and this is a sign of a world-class striker.
He is a world-class striker, but of course a world-class striker needs players around them, of course, to create those opportunities. You were very influential in the game today as well. How did you feel? Yeah,
I think I'm improving my relationship with Erling. I think I played a lot of good passes in behind today. Maybe he could have finished a few, but every time I pass it, he seems to miss, unfortunately. But no, I think we're definitely building that relationship. I'm finding him more in behind and where he needs the ball to score goals. So yeah, something I've been working on.
Thank you very much for your time. Well done today.
Thank you.
Cheers.
There we go. Those are the thoughts of Phil Foden, Shay Given and Gary Cahill in the studio with me. Erling Haaland, boys, was absolutely raging in that first half. You could see the frustration steaming out of his ears. He soon had a smile on his second half on his face in the second half, Gary, didn't he, with that goal?
Yeah, he sure did. We saw his reaction in the first half. Like I said, his body language was a bit angry. He was disappointed with the way it was going. But this is great movement here. If you look at it, from Doku comes inside, great ball from Phil, and O'Reilly just stands it up. It's a great header. It's bread and butter for Haaland. You see it here. Watch his movement, Doku. Just comes inside, which opens up the space for O'Reilly. He's pointing where he wants the ball, and with the likes of Phil Foden, with the quality that he possesses, produces it inch perfect. And like I said before, this is a great stand-up. It's interesting with Haaland's movement. He goes to obviously attack the space and then just steps back 2 steps, which gives him that space, frees him up from the defender. And like I said, that's bread and butter finishing for a man like him.
And that was his first touch in the second half, Shay. Less than 5 minutes later, his second touch in the second half, this.
You don't need to touch the ball often as long as each touch hits the back of the net. Well, that's the thing. Yeah, I mean, he's as Phil said in his interview, he's world class. He's got some great players around him, don't get me wrong. But if you want someone to finish the ball at the end of them, this is brilliant from Savinho. But in the replay, I really want you to watch his movement here as a centre forward. Just watch Haaland. I know Savinho keeps his width. Watch when he's about to cut it back. Look, he puts the brakes on. He takes 2 steps back away from the traffic, and he slots it home. This is a brilliant striker. This is a striker in form, as you said before. 23 goals this season, and we're mid-October. The numbers, the stats is just phenomenal. This is a machine, a goal machine.
Must do better when we look at Erling Haaland's goals and who he scored them against this season for club and country. I mean, they are crazy numbers, Gary, aren't they? 23 in 13 games. God knows how many touches, probably not many, to score those 23. But it's not even November, and we're talking about those sort of figures.
Yeah, it's a scary record, isn't it? He's breaking all sorts of records at the moment. And it's funny because you hear people talk a lot about his build-up play. You hear people talk a lot about how many touches he had. I think it was mentioned even in commentary in the first half. But like Shay said, the only touches that matter are the ones that hit the back of the net. And he's a goal machine. Does it week after week, and his numbers are frightening.
So come on, Shay, where are Manchester City in the title picture? Because no one was mentioning them a couple of weeks ago, a few weeks ago. It was all between Liverpool and Arsenal, and Pep would probably secretly quite like that, wouldn't he?
Well, yeah, Liverpool have stuttered a bit, haven't they? They've dropped off a little bit, had a poor week. But no one's talking about Man City at all. Now they're sitting top of the league. You have to talk about them when they're sitting top of the league. But I still think from the outside, Arsenal, it feels that it's their title this year to win. They've got such a great squad. I mean, we spoke before about Rodri not being fully fit yet. There's still a few links in that Man City squad, and team is not firing on all cylinders yet. But the likes, I like to see Phil Foden as well back to his best. Last season he seemed to dip, but he seems to be back up again. So if he can have a great season, you never know.
And the bench look very strong today as well. You know, the depth is coming. People are getting fit, so they look very strong.
And finally, just on City and their season so far, you think they lost those 2 back-to-back games in August. Since then, 8 games unbeaten. The only games they haven't won in those 8 games unbeaten, because there were 6 wins, the draw against Arsenal and the draw against Monaco in the Champions League. 2 games that they should have won, Shane.
Yeah. Well, they definitely should have won in the Champions League. The Arsenal game, Arsenal fans would maybe disagree with you, because Arsenal were pushing hard second half. They just couldn't hold on. Arsenal kept knocking on the door, scored a late goal. But again, they're very much in the titles, that's for sure. Pep Guardiola's remit is to win the league, and they'll be close come the end of the season.
Yeah, right. Lots of other goals to bring you, 16 of them, in fact, and 6 of them, guys, came at Selhurst Park in what we've been calling the Gary Cahill derby. And it did not disappoint this game. Look, we had a hat-trick for Jean-Philippe Mateta, but they were up against it, Gary, weren't they, early on? Krupi with 2, that's his first.
Yes, and his second coming up here, he was up against it, but what a game this was. Fantastic. Semenyo again involved, had such a good season. We spoke before, Mark just couldn't quite sort his feet out. It's a great finish, obviously a disaster start for Crystal Palace, 2-0 down.
Then the big man steps up, doesn't he? He's had a bit of stick from an ex-player this week in Zaha, and he's answered, I suppose, any noise there was, with a hat-trick. JP Mateta, he's an absolute handful. That I think that was taken up to VAR for an offside decision, Will, but it's clearly you can see with the defenders playing him onside, and he's off and running, JP. And again, they talk about the strikers moving the summer, Sesko and even Voltemata and maybe Isak even. No one's really mentioned JP moving, and he is just in the right place at the right time. You see the stature, you see the size of him. He knows where the back of the net. Gary, you're a defender. I wouldn't want to play up against him. He's a brilliant attacking player, isn't he?
And then Ryan Christie, Gary, here, it looked like they were going to steal the points, Bournemouth.
Yes, it did, so late on. Great ball he's got across, is it Tyreek there? And you thought that was the winner. But it clearly wasn't. And we saw here, there was 1 or 2 opportunities for a penalty, but I don't know why defenders are grabbing so much when you get penalised. There's 2 or 3 incidents there you could look at. For me, it was a definite penalty.
Can't argue with that. Can we see that replay?
You can't argue with that. And it was a big moment to step up. Obviously, right at the very end of the game. And he's took it. First hat-trick, I think, of the Premier League season. Mateta, again, fantastic. Although, I think we'll come on to the next opportunity.
Talk me through this
because I don't know how you go away from a football match, probably disappointed, knowing how professional he will be, and disappointed that he's missed that opportunity, but he's come away with a match ball. He'll be replaying that in his head tonight, and an opportunity to win the game, so a big miss.
Yeah, and I think we can hear from probably the only man in Premier League history to have scored a hat-trick and to still be absolutely devastated after the game. Look at the reaction from Oliver Glasner. We can hear now from Jean-Philippe Mateta.
Jean-Philippe, many congratulations, because it's an incredible achievement to score a Premier League hat-trick, but you look upset. Tell me why.
Because I want to win every game, and I think I have the ball to win this game, even if I score a hat-trick, and that's why I'm like that.
That chance at the end, describe what you were thinking as Eddie played a really nice pass into you.
Yeah, he played a very fantastic, very good play, and it's up to me to score that goal. I didn't score, and that's why I'm like that.
But your first goal for France, and now another Premier League hat-trick. I mean, come on, these are amazing days for you.
No. I need a few minutes to.
Yeah, I understand.
I need to speak with the team, and I will cool down. But now I'm like a little bit upset. But we have another game, and hopefully I will score. I win.
Elsewhere today, a big win for Brighton, who beat Newcastle by 2-1. Danny Welbeck, at the age of 34, a.k.a. Benjamin Button, still doing it.
Yeah, it's a great piece of forward play, like I said before. His movement and his finish, his awareness that the goalkeeper's coming out, just to lift it over and put Brighton 1 ahead.
But the big man, Nick, on the spot, wasn't it, Will? This is a brilliant finish, it really is. No one talks about the size and the stature, how good he is in the air, but what brilliant feat for a big man. That's an unbelievable goal.
Kanu,
good shout. It's a brilliant flick, and then
Danny has a last laugh. The ball just falls very kindly to him on the edge of the box, and he dispatches it away to obviously get Brighton the 3 points. So fantastic 2 finishes from Danny Welbeck.
Danny Welbeck still doing it. Hasn't played for England since 2018. They could do with him, couldn't they? What a 3 points, guys, for newly promoted Sunderland. Shay, keep saying your old team. I know you don't like that, but it is one of your old teams.
I was there briefly on loan. For, you know what I mean? I was never a Sunderland player, if you want to be pedantic about it. But take nothing away from that result today. It's a brilliant result. I actually thought this was a bit of a banana skin, if I'm being honest. Mukwele with the first goal. I thought, you know, if Wolves can win this, they're right back in the mix. But I think it's a brilliant 3 points, and then obviously they've seen it off. Krejcik, I think, with an OG in the second half, it's one of them bloomers of the season, isn't it? I don't know what he's thinking. He's got his hands in his head. It's a poor bit of defensive. But what I'm saying is, Sunderland are now 12 points clear of Wolves in the Premier League. They've got a great chance of staying up.
Gary, this was a game that probably when they looked at it against a fellow newly promoted side that they had to get 3 points, and they did, Burnley, didn't they? Look at that for a cross from Walker.
Yeah, it's a fantastic header by Ugo Chukwu. It's a fantastic delivery from Kyle Walker. I don't know how he's ended up so isolated on his own in the box, but great header. And then look at this for a finish. Lou Chalmer, I mean, amazing hit from the outside of the box. Don't know if there's movement on this, a little bit, but it's a great hit and great finish. And it's a big, big win for Burnley. You know, these sorts of games against Leeds and against the teams around them, it's important to win, and they've done that today.
So the top of the table, guys, looks like this. It can change, can't it, over the next couple of hours, but Manchester City on top, on goal difference. In fact, not even on goal difference, it's on goals scored, isn't it? Because both plus 11 with Arsenal, but Liverpool and Bournemouth making up those Champions League places. We've seen 18 goals so far. There could be more to come at Craven Cottage. What a day it has been. I mean, do you remember Ange Postecoglou getting sacked a few hours ago?
It feels like 3 weeks ago, doesn't it? Yeah, it's big news, obviously. It was 18 minutes after the final whistle, Ange Postecoglou got sacked. We've seen the owner leave with 20 minutes to go in the game. We felt like the writing was on the wall, but it's backed up this afternoon. So many goals, so many talking points, and congratulations to Mateta as well, getting a hat-trick. He didn't look overly happy in his interview there because he missed such a sitter. But when the dust settles, to get a hat-trick in the Premier League is a special day for him.
And look at the entertainment. I mean, you know, who would have thought that we'd have a 6-goal thriller, Gary? And actually, you know, Crystal Palace, because after that 19-game unbeaten run, it could have been back-to-back defeats. Jean-Philippe Mateta, I'm sure, will have a smile on his face a little bit later. But just watching that interview, he was devastated, wasn't he?
Yeah, the Premier League back with a bang. I called it because, you know, professionally, that's the kind of moments that you go through and you replay in your mind. Of course you do. Like Shay said, he should be proud. You know, he's got his team back in there, basically got his team a point with a hat-trick. But he'd be disappointed. I know what he's like. And you'd expect him to be. That's kind of mentality you should have. You know, you want to take every opportunity, you want to win the game. He didn't, but like you said, when the dust settles, he's picked up a match ball and got his team a point. So both teams still flying high.
Great to spend the afternoon with you guys. Loved it. Still more to come for you on Premier League Live because as it stands, Manchester City top of the Premier League table. That could all change. Kelly Summers is alongside Ian Wright, and Darren Ben.
So, thank you very much to Will and, of course, the Sunderland legend, Shay Given, who I'm sure is desperate to get out of this studio. Yes, we still have one more game to bring you on Premier League Live this evening, and it will be all eyes on